Well, I think risk and compliance are both essential for any big organisation. It's really a question for me as to what emphasis you put on each one. Clearly, compliance is all about the implementation of systems and processes that ensure the organisation complies with the law. It's pretty clear what those requirements are usually, and it's really just a matter of how those requirements affect your company and to what extent in which jurisdiction. Once a company gets its corporate head around how to manage that, it's a comparatively straightforward exercise. I'm not saying it's easy because it's not. I've been the head of compliance for a number of organisations. The risk side is a bit more about trying to be creative, trying to be imaginative, and trying to look ahead on behalf of the organisation. So in a 6-month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year time scale, what are going to be the big issues coming down the line that the company might not really have got to grips with yet? So from a corporate perspective, risk management is much more nebulous, a much more less well-defined area, but both are equally important for the organisation. A good example of where risk management differs from compliance would be something like the UK Bribery Act. Now, many companies in Asia have spent a lot of time looking at the implications of that act because it's multi-jurisdictional. It applies globally if you meet a few criteria, and this oversimplifies it, but essentially if you have British passport holders or you have British bank accounts or you do some of your business in the UK, there's a chance that you're caught by the UK Bribery Act. The UK Bribery Act is very wide-ranging and can basically capture almost any company anywhere in the world. The key from a compliance perspective is that makes it quite obvious that you are perhaps caught by that. But from a compliance perspective, is that actually relevant to your jurisdiction? Is that something you really want to prepare for? From a risk perspective, I guess the perception is more thinking about, okay, well, that's an interesting development. What jurisdictions are going to follow that path? Who's going to look at the UK system and say, okay, we should have that in our company, in our country, we should have that under our jurisdiction. When might that be rolled out? And if it was, what will be the impact on your corporation?